YouTube, welcome to the top 8 grand finale and top deck list. We are starting this off with Centurion against Memento. We are soon possibly expecting Raziel to come out next week, Copium. If not, then expect another month of top tier Lancia, top tier Maliss, clapping up the meta, and then maybe once the Master Duel player base drops to even lower than it is, even though it's at its lowest point ever in history since release, while we're in this Maliss Lancia meta, only then will we then maybe see the Raziel. Yep, all right, which will save the game. Thank you for watching as long as you can. It greatly supports the events. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
What? Said 2 pass? We need a monster to tribute the breakout. You're supposed to be searching this, you're supposed to be dumping this, supposed to have at least 2 buys to use with the Super Poly. Well, then it is what it is. What can we Super Poly up with? We have a Light Primera and a Dark Trudea. That's not going to be a good fusion summon for us. We're going to search for the stand-up Centurion. Stand up's going to discard the Lubellion, setting up into the back row the Atri. We're going to Gargoyle, send the back row to summon itself to now synchro into a Legatia. Legatia on summon is going to be drawing a card. We're also going to use the Gargoyle to add back from engrave to our hand. When can we poly? We need 2 lights or 2 darks. He had a light and a dark go into the Legatia. Emblema Oath is going to be setting up the Trudea, and now we're summoning another different attribute, light and dark. Lubellion is going to be sending itself to the grave to search for a Baldrake. Finally, Super Poly will be activatable. 7,800 damage on the field, so we're not forced to actually use our Super Poly. We're allowing all of it to go through, leaving us with 200 life points as we now summon our Lubellion in main phase 2. We're going to Super Poly before they set up the Regained, use it away into our Moo Dragon. End our turn. Now, what are our forms of disruption? Let's see if it's even worth counting. 3 Super Poly. Now, the breakout could tribute the Moo Dragon to search our deck or summon a Goblin. We can make a play off of that, but we now have to do it under the max frequency. They have a Bell, a Banish, a Banish, a Banish if we summon from the extra deck. If sent to the grave, it could send our special summon monster to the grave. They could also synchro with the field spell into a Blazar potential play. Well, it's not going to be a Blazar, it'll be something else. 6 forms of disruption. Good luck. We are going to be summoning the Trudea. We are attempting to go to the battle phase. Legatia is here. It's going to non-target. Why don't we break out? Tribute, search, Goblin, normal Goblin? No? Why? I'm just giving up. I'm out of here. We out. Now, Legatia's a non-target pop, which is why you don't summon the Goblin. You just add it, then you normal summon it. We just didn't want to play anymore. Let's hop into game 2. Now, Lancia against Memento will stop the Memento fusion from popping to search. It will also stop the Creation King from banishing to search. We have a better hand than turn 1, game 1 that is. Lancia in the standby phase. You turned off your own Serenir, which is good against banishing Gaddock. I don't know if that's a good idea to Lancia right away. I don't agree with that. At least Lancia chain Serenir to get a banish on the Gaddock? Possibly. Sleepy special summon. Let's fuse this up with our hand in field. Creation King on summon is going to send 3 cards from the deck to the grave. Boom. Banish. You don't summon, then add back from the grave. Not today. But now that we're under the effect of Lancia, we could safely, because we can't banish to search, I'll just put it in the grave, then add it back. We now have Anguish, which is going to be reborning the Mace. Mace will be searching for our Memento fusion. Trigger the Acheron, trigger the field spell, reborn 2 bodies. Nibiru, the field, let's go. A good Nibiru against Memento, finally. Oh, when do you Nibiru? Well, how about when they have 5 freaking monsters in the field? Yeah, you should just Nibiru that. This does nothing. Bone Party is dead. You need a Memento to pop to search or special summon. You need a card to discard to even use Super Poly. We were actually just on 0 disruption. We have nothing. Nada. Wow. A single Nibiru putting them to 0 disrupt. Jesus. I'm out of here. We are out. 2-0, let's go. Let's hop on another one. Oh, set then pass. Fiendsmith, Voiceless with Nadir. Nadir turning off our extra deck, thus we now can't go into Requiem summon from the deck. We are going to be popping the Crossout Designate, declaring Called by the Grave, so you do not finger our Ash. Let's now speed this up. Droll Ash in Max C. Obviously, you don't want to droll your Max C. We're going to chain Max C to the Maximus special summoning here. And because we do have the attack, we have to think, is it worth it to take the Max C challenge and go in for game? We are going to send a Garura and the Tri-Brigade, which will be drawing and then returning a card back. We're going to trigger the effect of the Desiree when sent to the grave to return a Light Fiend to then send a card from the field to the grave. We're going to use the Sarvis to negate the Desiree, targeting our monster mate. Draw, return. Now we're going to draw on Lockbird our own Max C. I don't know. I guess Barrier can't search. You can still summon. Ash negate. The Radiance mate. I guess it kind of worked out. They can't Barrier search. End the turn. Now, we have Birch and Golem. Finally ready to make some plays. Radiance is going to be activating to summon from the deck. This is it, as we now summon from the, there you go, the regular Sarvis, which will then summon from the deck in response to you activating. We could Ash, or we could chain the Sarvis. We're going to Ash instead, negate the summon, no Search of the Wedju Temple, no Millennium nonsense today. If you were to activate something else, we would chain the Sarvis, summon from the deck, either a special summon negate or the Skull Guardian mate to further negate. Let's hop into game 2. Let's activate the SEKashtira field spell, searching for our Unicorn, special summon, searching our deck for a Birth. Birth is now here. Tracked, searching for a Lurie. Lurie Reborn, Requiem. We're going to Ash the Requiem. No, we're not. We're going to save the Ash for something else. Send Engraver, Reborn. Nope, we're going to banish the Engraver. Very good. Unicorn, now look at the extra deck and banish away a key card. We're going to use Ash onto the Magnum Hut, searching for a dragon in the end phase. Negate. Let's take a gander at that extra deck and say goodbye to your Requiem. Normally, Voiceless does not care that much about their extra deck, but a Fiendsmith version definitely does care about the Requiem, as we now have a Sequence. Sequence activating to fuse the graveyard into our Fiendsmith Lacrima. Lacrima is going to target the Banished Engraver, reborning it back as we turn these two bodies into a Promethean Princess. Promethean is going to first not reborn from the graveyard. We're going to use the Engraver to send the Sequence to send the opposing monster to the graveyard as we then reborn the Birch. Now we're going to turn these two bodies into a Sunlight Wolf. Now it's summoned to where the wolf is pointing to a Wave King Caesar to add back engrave our Ash Blossom. Thank you very much. Birthing our Unicorn back onto the field, ending our turn. What do we have here? Double special summon negate. We could also Ash negate an interaction with the deck. We could Lancia turn off the effect of the Saphira. They do have Called By, which we could chain the Lancia to. This will be interesting, and possibly the Birth may be a form of disruption if they activate a spell and we banish important cards here. That would be them activating a ritual spell. So what would happen is, if you turn off the Lancia, you also turn off your Birth, but if you don't do that, you activate a ritual spell to send the Low to the graveyard. Low will then activate on the lower chain link. The Birth would be the higher chain link to banish the Low before it reborns. Low is going to activate, putting up the barrier. We're going to banish away a Chaos Angel, not really important. We're going to be searching for the Sarvis. Saphira activating. Finger action's about to be happening. I think so. We're going to Ash. We're going to bait the finger. We're going to Lancia negate the finger. This is it. This is a key moment of this duel. Hey, well, why no finger? You're not fingering my Ash. What the heck? You have it for my Lancia, though. What the? Wait, he fingered the Promethean Princess instead. He had his eye on Promethean. He did not care about your Ash. Went right around the Ash, right around the Lancia, right into the Promethean Princess, triggering the Sunlight Wolf to add back the Ash. We're now going to use the Anima to suck up the Wolf. End the turn. Well, I can't use the Saphira to perform a ritual summon, which really screwed us up. We're going to replace the field spell with the Wedju Temple. Remember, Promethean is still negated if we were to have another one, as we're going to use the Ash to negate the Senjin. If we fingered their Ash, it fingers our own Ash, so you do want to consider that when using your finger. Unicorn further banishing from their extra deck. Doom Dragon pushing the Anima into the back row. 8,300 damage. Lethal. I was playing against a Caesar recently, and I was like, wow, Caesar sucks. Holy crap, this card's going to be bad once Ryzeal comes out. It's not bad right now, but EXT Ryzeal Specials doesn't activate. Where's the Sword Ryzeal Specials and doesn't activate. It's just like their Caesar's just sitting there doing freaking nothing. We have Todd opening up with a Fiendsmith Tract. We have no disruption whatsoever. We have the Radiance, which can, with the Sarvis, we already used the Sarvis. It's going to be a hard once per turn, but it could pop a card in the field. We could summon a Sarvis to negate an inherent special summon. We could Desiree non-target negate. We can negate anything with the Skull Guardian. We can negate with the Ash. With 5 disruptions, do we have anything left? That's it, just 5. Our light monsters, including Desiree, well, Desiree already cannot be targeted, but all our light monsters could not be targeted by card effects. We're going to Ash negate the Wanted Seeker. Activate the SEKashtira field spell. We're going to pop it with the Radiance. We're now down to 3 disruption left. Negate anything, negate to summon, negate anything on the field. Sarvis back to the hand to summon a Sarvis from the deck. Tract is going to add a Lurie. When Lurie is summoned, Sarvis cannot negate, but when they summon a Requiem, the Sarvis can negate. We can negate a Doom Dragon if we want. We're going to use the Skull Guardian to negate the Senjin. Negate and destroy. Double disruption left. Lurie into the Requiem, Sarvis negate, and banish. Banish the Requiem. You still have Desiree. Desiree is going to allow the Poplar to be added. Poplar trigger, come forth, activate search in our deck for nothing. Negate the Poplar, and just like that, we have 0 disruption left. As we go into a Hida. Hida needs a fire monster in the opposing graveyard. You do have Ash Blossom in there. Thank you very much. As we further go into a Promethean Princess. Promethea. Game 3 going to Voiceless. Very nicely done. Good job, Todd. Let's hop into another one. We're going to Tract. If you use Lancia, could stop a Tract engrave from banishing to fuse, which is not a part of a normal combo. So normally you're not going to have the Lancia even be used. But instead, we would want the Lancia to protect our Max C. We also don't want to use Lancia early, which would turn off our Baldrake. So let's banish the Engraver, chain the Max C. If they have a call by the Engraver crossout, we then chain the Lancia to the... He does not have it. Come forth, we are drawing per special summon. Baldrake resolve, banish away the Engraver. Requiem equip onto the Engraver as we further send the Baldrake from the field to the graveyard. Lubellion is going to send itself to the graveyard to search our deck as the March Hare now is going to banish the newly drawn White Rabbit. Search for the Magnum Hut, trigger the White Rabbit, summon itself onto the field, set into the back row our MTP. End our turn, MTP in the end phase. We're going to banish away the March Hare, search our deck for a Dormouse, add back the March Hare to our hand with an established White Rabbit on field, which is now resetting its banishment trigger. There is a Nibiru, there is a Lancia, but to mitigate the Lancia, we have at least one body already on the field to at least set up some form of disruption. We're going to normal summon the Dormouse. Are we just not activating the Lancia? It's not like fingered or something. Now we're going to Lancia, stop in the chassis, chain the March Hare, committing to a 4th body here. And now with that Nibiru, get ready for a big fat Nibiru. As soon as they resolve the Red Ransom Reborn from Engrave, they're not locked into Cyberse monsters here. Uh-oh, Nibiru's coming. Apollo can be summoned here. So you can wait for this to resolve. Before the Apollo comes out, wipe the field. We're doing it. Impulse, because you have an engraver on the field, we're going to negate the Nibiru. Now, the Impulse being activated from the hand means that our Light, Earth, and Wind are no good for the rest of the duel. Thus, we now change our mind. We don't want to go to an Apollo USA, which is not activatable. White Binder is, remember, we're under the effect of Lancia. We cannot banish. Let's take out the engraver. 2,900 to the face. Let's further go into a... This is not activatable. It's not. It's a light. It's a light. Can't be activated. Okay. I don't think he knows. At least not yet. We're going to summon a Requiem. Requiem is going to summon for the deck a Crimson Tear. Crimson Tear, send for the deck here, Attract. Now, we have the GWC before they activate the engraver to banish with the White Binder. I think a lot of people are underutilizing the banishment effect of White Binder. Try to always think of it as a form of disruption to the best of your ability to get banishing. And with that, we also, MTP is in, we don't have any disruption off of this. That's wild. There's no Cryptor. Firewall can't be used. MTP is in the graveyard. What the heck do we do? We just have a Malice and Mirror. One negate, that's it, mate. If we consider the White Binder to be a form of disruption, that's also two. Binder, banish away the engraver and the Requiem. You have Malice and Mirror, negating the Magnum Hut, which will maybe draw into another hand trap. Possibly, hopefully. Come back, White Binder. Draw. Nope, no good. Why my Firewall not working though? Why can't I activate it? What's going on? Chaos Angel on summon is going to banish away the White Binder. To battle we go, taking out the dead Firewall Dragon. And we do have Imperm on the open field to negate the Chaos Angel. Of course, we're going to fire that off first. Negate the Chaos Angel before committing to our Dormouse. Dormouse is going to be banished the Chessy Cat. Chessy Cat's going to banish the March Hare. Go for a draw to play here. Now, March Hare add back. We do not have a Link Decoder anymore. Magnum Hunt's going to banish the White Rabbit. Activate both cards. Summon the White Rabbit onto the field. White Rabbit set into the back row, a TB11. Turn 3 bodies into a Cryptor, which can return the White Binder back into the extra deck. What I really want to highlight in this duel is the fact that we gave ourselves Lancia Resilience by activating March Hare on their turn. Otherwise, if we didn't make that March Hare play and they were to Lancia us in the draw phase, we would have been screwed. We would have passed on no plays whatsoever. So do consider, it's very difficult. If you were to ask me, Decade, should I always March Hare on the opponent's turn? Well, you have to consider things. If they're playing Fiendsmith, they're going to be able to get the engraver to send a card to then send your monster from the field to the grave. But if it's a White Rabbit, it's going to be much more beneficial because the White Rabbit is going to at least ensure that you have a Dormouse and the March Hare back in the hand, and hopefully the White Rabbit still stays on the field to give you that resilience against the Lancia. And that's why we just couldn't Lancia early. Well done. We're going to Lubellian Search. Again, we have Lancia versus Lancia. We don't have March Hare, but we do have Call to the Grave to finger the Lancia here. Magnum Hunt searching for the Baldrake. We're in a scenario. We're in a situation. Lancia is ideally used in the draw or standby, but you're going to have these whispers in your head of, don't use Lancia. You want to Baldrake your Lancia, which means we have to wait for them to get a body on the field. And once they get a body in the field, then I could Lancia. Then they could try to finger my Lancia. Then I could chain Baldrake, banish it, and then everyone cheers. Is what's going to happen here? Let's find out. We're planning it. We're playing around the finger. We're not allowing him to finger our Lancia. We are planning on using Baldrake to banish it. We're going to White Rabbit, set up a GWC. Now we could Lancia whenever we want. Now we can't. Can you imagine? You Lancia because there's a body on the field, they chain the trap, banish, and now you cannot chain the Baldrake, then they chain called by? You would get blown out. But now it's 2 bodies. Lizardos. Lizardos gonna banish my cost. Bro's not using Lancia. He's holding the Lancia. We're just holding it. Okay. Nibiru instead. Impulse. Negate the Nibiru. Negate. What are we holding Lancia for? Chassis? Okay. Try to finger my Lancia? No, I'm not gonna even care. I think that if you hold on to Lancia long enough to the point where a mouse player doesn't even want to finger your Lancia, you probably did not use Lancia correctly. Red, Ransom on summon. We're going to be Chain the Phantasme to draw 2. Draw 2, return 1. Come to me, return back the Engraver. We have a Maliss and Mirror being searched for. To battle we go. We have our own Lancia turned off, by the way. We can't use it. Splash Mage. Don't summon Firewall again. You can't use it. White Binder on summon is going to not be banishing. We're going to be setting up an MTP into the back row. End our turn. Now back to you. What do we have here? We have negate a monster, non-target banish a card in the field. We can finger a card, engrave, triple disruption. Maybe the White Binder can draw into another hand trap, possibly. Crimson Tear, send Engraver here, further going into the Requiem. Engraver activating to Reborn, and we are not going to finger the Engraver. Activate the Requiem to summon from the deck a Crimson Tear. Requiem equip onto the Crimson Tear here. Engraver attempt to send the White Binder, successfully doing so. Baldrake's going to banish the Phantasme. As we turn these two bodies into the Crazy Beast, the Crazy Beast is going to pop a back row card and also likely turn itself into a Zeus. We're going to go for the back row Call by the Grave, forcing out its activation, fingering the Requiem. Big on Requiem, as we still have the Mirror and the MTP. To battle we go. We do have a Zeus play as soon as we enter main phase 2. We're going to chain Max C to the GWC, attempting to non-target Reborn. Reborn back our Binder. Binder on summon. Banish 3 cards from either player's graveyard, going all 3 onto your own graveyard. Now we're going to turn our 2 bodies into a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon. Banish from the field or grave. We're going to banish the Maliss and Mirror. Maliss and Mirror was one of our forms of disruption, is now going to be searching for a March Hare. Crazy Beast, what the heck? It's crazy and it's back and it's turning itself into a Typhon. Typhon, before it activates to spin back the White Binder, we're going to use the Little Knight to chain banish itself plus the Typhon as the MTP searches our deck for a Chessie with nothing to now banish. Typhon is further turning off 3,000 attack. It's turning off our own Nibiru. I can't Nibiru because our own Typhon. We're going to set the MTP with the White Binder, normal the Chessie, banish to draw 2. Now, whenever we want, we could Little Knight banish away our own Typhon to turn back on our Nibiru. But maybe we're not really thinking about Typhon turning off our Nibiru. Red Ransom, we're about to find out. White Rabbit being banished, Red Ransom activating to search our deck. White Rabbit is now here. 7,900 damage. As we now go into the Hard Scripter, and just like that, why is our Nibiru not activatable? Taking out the Little Knight, we're going to MTP, banish the Cryptor, banish the on-field Typhon that is, then Cryptor's gonna activate and banish, come back at 5,000 freaking attack for game. That's a 2-0 victory, mate. What the? Begin. All Volcanics activate, get negated by the Ashmate, trying to pop a fire to then search your deck for a fire, which pops off the full combo. That's okay, we still have the Fire King Sanctuary, but we do not know about the Purge. Purge will then negate the Fire King Island. Again, similar to the Volcanics, pop a monster, search our deck for a fire, negate. Well, we're now gonna have to end. We have Imperm and we have Skyburn, so we negate a monster plus pop a card on the field. We do have Piri Resmap. The very first activation is required at the start of the main phase. Normal summon the barrel. Imperm onto the barrel. Do we Drill Beam? We have the Drill Beam activatable. We don't care because we already have Drill Beam already set up. We could save the Drill Beam for the other card. So with that, we just have Skyburn as the Link 1. Eyes of Blue searches our deck for the Mausoleum to additionally summon the Sage. This is not looking good for Fire King. We're going to attempt the Skyburn, pop the Volcanics and the Field Spell, Drill Beam, negate, and banish, which really sucks for Sniffus. This is a one of Drill Beam in your hand. We wasted a negate on the barrel, which was still a correct negate. We're going to Sage, search for the Maiden. Let's speed this up. Spirit with Eyes of Blue, summon the Blue Eyes of Dragon from the hand, trigger the Maiden Engrave, reborn, further turn 2 bodies into a Spirit Dragon. Now, Spirit Dragon against Volcanics. Volcanics would activate in Graveyard when destroyed. Well, that's on the damage step. So let's read if this can negate in the damage step. It says you negate the activation of a card that activates engraved, thus it can negate the damage step. We are going to Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragon, reborning a Blue Eyes from the graveyard possibly, or summoning from the deck. From the deck, we summon instead. Double Spirit Dragon, activate the Volcanics, negate the Volcanics, so we didn't even bother activating it. Let's end it up. We have double Disruption. Another Skyburn? Wait, yeah, another Skyburn. Second Skyburn. We're going to summon an Ultimate Spirit Dragon, activating the Fire King Island as we use the Ultimate Spirit Dragon to negate. Now we're left with the Spirit Dragon turning into another form of disruption. Volcanics having nothing to pop. We're going to swing in. We're going to cope. There's nothing we could do. Let's hop into game number 2. Show me why Fire King is in the top 8. Please, let's do it. Here's our Pot of E. Pot of E is expensive. Because we're playing Pot of E, we have 3 ultra rare Promethean, 3 ultra rare Hayang, 2 ultra rare Typhon. We don't want them to randomly be banished. Well, let's see what happens. We kept most of our Prometheans, but we lost all of our Hitas, I think. Is there another Hita? Hita is gone for good. We're going to chain the Ash to the Maxi, which you do want to activate Maxi in response to an effect that draws from the deck because they could be drawing into a Called By, Crossout, or an Ash. We have Volcanics on Summon, popping the Garunic, searching our deck for the Arvata, and with that, there's no more forms of disruption. We're going to trigger the Garunic, summon, pop from the deck of Kieran. Kieran's going to summon likely the Arvata. We're going to chain the Ponix to also summon itself onto the field. Let's speed this up. Good old pure Fire King. Searching the Fire King Sanctuary. We're going to set up the Fire King Island, pop a monster, search for a Garunix. Volcanics will summon for the deck of Garunix. 3 bodies into the Promethean Princess. Promethean is going to be reborning the Kieran, end our turn. What are our forms of disruption? I would use Arvata to negate a monster effect to pop the Promethean. Promethean will then reborn from the grave to pop a monster on special summon. We have Garunix, which would then pop a Kieran, or the Kieran could get popped in another way to then pop a card in the field. At least triple disruption. And the Fire King Sanctuary can maybe, are we going to have a way to go into a Hayang possibly? Hayang could then destroy every other monster on the field. So 4. Wishes, discard, search for 2. Grabbing a Roar and a Sage. Let's Drill Beam preemptively. Targeting the Arvata. Well, I'm going to be dodging that with the Kieran. Kieran is going to pop the Arvata, and notice how my 4 disruptions are still 4 because we still have a way after popping the Kieran to reborn the Arvata to still have that monster negate. Is that Copium though? Arvata reborn the Garunix? Actually not. If we Hayang, we could wipe away our own Promethean, our own Kieran. Kieran then reborns the Arvata, pops a card, and we still have that monster negate. Setting up the Lordy Load. Lordy Load, activating a search for another barrel. On a special summon, things may be happening. This is it. Maybe. We may trigger the Fire King Sanctuary. We did not. We're waiting. Maybe we wait further for a Blue Eyes or a Maiden to get a bigger field wipe. Force them to go through the hard once return effect of the Maiden. Sage send Blue Eyes. Reborn Blue Eyes. Trigger the Maiden. This has to be it. This is it. Passed on the Maiden. We're going to activate the Hayang. Hayang on summon, activate to wipe away the entire field of other monsters. Trigger the Kieran. Trigger the Garunix. Chainlink block the Kieran from potentially being negated as it's going to reborn the Arvata. First, the Garunix comes out. Arvata monster negate is back. Kieran gets poppin'. And now we have, as my foretold disruption foretold you, monster negate with the Arvata, and we still have Promethean Princess on a special summon to get popping. Nicely done. A Yang trigger when sent to the grave, reborn 2 bodies from engraveyard. Ponix is going to be searching for a follow-up. Alcanix also searching for a follow-up. Promethean is ready in response to the roar of the blue-eyed dragons. Activate, summon a Blue Eyes from the deck, trigger the Maiden, and we're going to trigger the Promethean. Now, normally you can't ever Promethean a Blue Eyes because there's usually a True Light, and the True Light's hidden effect, I would say, because it's never really relevant besides this moment, I would say, is that Blue Eyes cannot be targeted by card effects. Thanks to no True Light, say goodbye to the Blue Eyes. Now, why not the Maiden? If you target the Maiden could then chain to being targeted to reborn a Sage or reborn a Blue Eyes. We have an active Drill Beam, an active Majesty. We could non-target pop 2 cards and target banish any card on the field. We did not want to Drill Beam the Promethean because the Kirin could also just dodge the Drill Beam. The Drill Beam can banish the Fire King Island, right? And the Fire King Island states that when this card is banished, destroy all monsters you control. I think we are waiting for that moment. Majesty, and chain the Drill Beam. Why are we firing off all our effects? Well, Sniffus is just declared. I'm going to non-target, not tell you what exactly I'm going to do, but I'm going to pop on resolution without you knowing a card on the field. And not knowing is why we have to flip up everything. Drill Beam onto the Promethean Princess. Majesty is going to go for the, see, this don't work. So what happens is, let's say you have a Huggin and a field spell, right? You target the Huggin or you try to pop the Huggin and the field spell at the same time. Huggin could not protect itself instead of the field spell because it's already being destroyed at the same time with it. But the Fire King Sanctuary works different than a Huggin because Sanctuary is not sending itself or using itself to sacrifice itself for the field spell. It's using another fire monster. We are going, yep, that's it, mate. Begin. Now, there's something suspicious about Sniffus's deck. And what's suspicious about it is, from what I know, I've not looked at his deck list from today's event, but last week's deck list, he doesn't play Lancia, and he topped the event not once but twice. So this tells me, Sniffus, you want to let us all know why your deck is inherently doing well against Maliss without needing Lancia? Do you just counter Maliss naturally with this? How is your Maliss matchup? Veiler, negate the barrel. We did not use the Parry Reese map since we already have the Sage. Let's further make our plays under no disruption. We're going to be searching for the Mausoleum, additional normal, the Sage, search for a second Veiler, Maiden into the True Light. We're going to send a Blue Eyes from the deck to the grave. Sage is going to be reborning the Blue Eyes, trigger the Maiden in grave. Let's turn these 2 bodies into a Spirit Dragon. We're going to use the True Light, set of wishes, discard Parry Reese map, searching for a Majesty and a third Veiler. We're going to load some for the deck, a Blue Eyes, wishes equip onto the Blue Eyes to give us targeting protection onto our Spirit Dragons. We now can't get impermed, nor can we get Sky burned. We have, oh, there's the imperm that you can't even use. Well, Veiler negate, triple monster negate. We can non-target pop. How many cards in the field? 2 cards on the field with the Majesty. We could then further negate with double Spirit Dragons with having, let's say, a Cipher and the ultimate dragon that's possibly being summoned here, giving us a total of 6 disruptions, up to possibly 8 or now 7 since we're using the Spirit Dragon if we count the effect of negating a card in grave, which could maybe be relevant against Fire King. So 6 to 7, 7 being the ceiling. Let's go. Ultimate Spirit ready to negate the activation of any card in the field. Neo Ultimate's going to negate that. I'm not counting that as a disruption. Just, there you go. Neo Ultimate, gotcha. Negate. Now, if you try to pot a E, I will negate thee, right? That's a negate. We ain't, it's a cost, right? We can negate. Negate. The extravagance. Down to 6 disruptions. What do we do from here? Fire King Sanctuary, Majesty Pop. No, Sniffus. Is this the end? With 5 disruptions left, what are we doing with double Garunix in our freaking hand? Absolutely nothing. That is really unfortunate. Damn. All right, Blue Eyes it up. Speed this up. Please, make this quick. To attack, 83. Thank you very much. Do not mess up the attack order. White Lightning. Blue Eyes to the top 4. Thank you, Sniffus. I am a fan of your deck. I wanted to see you play against Maliss. Begin. White Rabbit on summon. We are going to Valor negate, likely not playing Valor ourselves, but we don't need to. With a Maliss plus a Bestial, we got the full ideal combo as we link Decoder, banish it, we got our 3 bodies. This is the magic setup. Well, let's negate that Maxi, get that out of here. Cross out Designate. Cryptor for the going into. Ooh, Terahertz. Based alert. We're going to send a Disable Worm from the action deck to the graveyard. We have a Spell and Trap card negate. Double Disruption on the Terahertz. We can negate a Spell and Trap card. We could push a monster or negate another card in the field. We can negate a special summon. We could banish a card from the graveyard. We can Nibiru the field. We could set up an MTP. I think it's still in the graveyard. We could also, with the MTP non-target banish, we could also Cryptor non-target banish. 6 disruption, and you have 3 cards in your hand. What happened to your hand? Well, you Valored, you Maxied, and you Impermed. Okay. Lordy Load. Disable Worm negates the activation, thus the load is not even on the field to then try to summon a Blue Eyes in the deck. Damn. Mouse is up 1. We're going to Maiden, send to the back row a True Light, activate, send to the back row a Wishes. We do not have an Ash in sight to negate the double search. Grabbing a Majesty plus a Sage. Sage on someone's going to search our deck for a Valor, as we're now going to use the field spell to send from the deck of Blue Eyes. Further going into the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, we're waiting with the Max C for a hard commitment. We need you to commit to a special summon before I want to activate the Max C. And now we potentially draw 2. Blue Eyes, and do we choose to trigger the Maiden? We do not. We pass, we end. Now, our forms of disruption is going to be the Majesty to non-target pop 2 cards. We have Valor negate a monster. We have Nibiru tribute up the field. Triple disruption, can we play through it? White Rabbit with a bluffed back row MTP or TB11. Setting up the TB11. TB11 is going to banish the White Rabbit to summon from the deck a March Hare. Trigger the White Rabbit here. We're going to link this off into a Lingaribo. Now your Majesty is turned off. We're going to be banishing our March Hare. Grab back the March Hare to our hand. And we're going to Nibiru, but we can Impulse and negate the Nibiru. Negate. Now, light monsters cannot be activated. Gold Sark, banish from the deck to come forth and summon. We just have Valor. And if Imperm sucks, then Valor also sucks, of course, and Majesty would have been great, but the Lingaribo is negate. So it looks like Mitchell is clapping up this duel. Link, Decoder, further turn this into a Red Ransom. Red Ransom and Link Decoder. Valor is going to cope. Well, if we want to, we could dodge with the GWC. Not a problem, as you could see. Let's turn these 2 bodies into an access code talker. Access the codes, boost, 5300, banish the Red Ransom, take out the True Light, get rid of that Blue Eyes White Dragon. Red Ransom summon itself onto the field. Majesty is going to activate because why not, as the Lingaribo now negates. Damn. Absolute clappage. Very nicely done. Bori, did the set Gold Sark do anything? Did it make you not want to Valor? Trudea is going to put herself to the back row plus a Primera to then summon herself from the back row to then search our deck for the stand-up Centurion. Stand up, discard a card from our hand, get rid of that dirty Lancia to put in our back row a Gargoyle. Gargoyle and the Primera is going to be making a Primus. Primus is going to be searching our deck. Gargoyle is going to be chain link blocking as the Magnum Hunt is going to be banishing away the Primera. Okay. What? This does not stop them from putting Primera in the back row. Auxilla could grab a banished card. And because you chain to the Primus effect, the Primus on resolution has the optional effect. It's a secret effect, I'd say. It is non-target, destroy 2 cards, 1 on each field. So we got a free pop. And what happened because we got a free pop? Well, Magnum Hunt now did not activate. We could not Magnum Hunt because you got popped on resolution. That's crazy. Damn. Auxilla is going to be able to grab the Primera if we want in the end phase. If we want to. We're going to put the Atri into the back row. Well, what are we dealing with? We are dealing with a Max C in the draw phase. We can't use the talents right away. We do have the ability with the Phalanx to banish. We are going to be able to Nibiru the field. We are going to be able to, you can only use 1 effect once per turn. How's the Gargoyle come out? If this is going to send to the graveyard, I don't think there's a way to get this out, unfortunately. We could Sereneer with the Atri. We could banish in the graveyard. We could also go into a Chaos Angel. It's about 4 forms of disruption. Saphira, send from the deck a ritual spell to search our deck for the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph. Saphira is going to banish from the grave. You did get rid of your Lancia, which could have stopped this to come forth and summon our Skull Guardian. Well, we have Chaos Hunter. Speaking of Chaos Hunter not doing as well as some people thought it would against Maliss, we are still playing it. As we now search for a low with the Skull Guardian. We're going to be activating the Atri and the Sereneer, banishing the Pendulum Graph Dragon here to make our Chaos Angel banish play. Atri is going to draw. Stand-up Centurion is going to Chaos Angel. Or Baron to floor. Sure. Baron to floor for our Omni Negate. Sereneer, send from the deck to the grave. Phalanx is going to banish away the Skull Guardian, which we can't trigger this. If our face-up light ritual leaves the field from an opponent's card effect, you could then banish to summon from the deck another Skull Guardian. Well, the Chaos Hunter says no, you cannot do that. Rebellion from the deck, low on summon, negated and destroyed. Triple Tactics talent, if you take control of Baron to floor, do we get a negate? Well, let's read this. Normally a hard once per turn. You can only use the previous effect of negating once per turn. The U means that only Haga can use the negate once per turn. Thus, this would make you think that you can use the negate, but it's not only a hard once per turn, it's also soft while face up. Once while face up, that's the card. This is the player. So per the card, it cannot use its negate again, even if we switch control. Let's Triple Tactics talent. Take control of the Baron to floor anyway. Baron to floor, pop the thing that can't get popped because the Auxilla. And let's summon a Sarvis. Turn both bodies into a Little Knight. On summon, let's banish a card from either player's field or graveyard. Say goodbye to the Auxilla. That's going to trigger the Primus because a monster left the field through card effect. Magnum Hunt is going to be banishing the low within the end phase. Don't forget to search your deck, or graveyard that is. How many draws did we give under Max C? Damn, we got clapped up this duel. Skull Guardian. Is it returned back to the field? Does it work like Little Knight? Because Little Knight will banish, then it just comes back to the field. If we read the effect, it states that you are going to special summon the banished monster. And because it's special summoned, a low in graveyard on the special summon will be able to reborn from engrave, but it has to be engrave. This is one that's banished. Is there a low engrave? There is not. Oops. Let's take out the Little Knights, the non-boosted Skull Guardian. Let's try, draw a card, replace the field spell, discard, put into the back row, a Trudea, summon Trudea, put itself in the back row, plus Primera, summon for the back row, search your deck for another stand-up, turn both bodies into a Dissipator. We have a monster negate. We're gonna reborn the Auxilia back in the field. On special summon, search our deck, not even on synchro. Libellion is gonna be reborning, setting up Regain. Regain's gonna reborn back the Dissipator, further going into a Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon's gonna be going into a Blazar Dragon. Damn, Todd, we're just not going to surrender this. Let's see it. If we could play through this, that'd be great. Negate anything into a potential, another negate anything into a Little Knight banish, into another banish, into the Regain, reborn the Dissipator, which will then negate a monster effect, into the Nibiru, tribute off the field, into the Baldrake, banish from your grave, into the Baldrake, banish your monster from the extra deck, into the Ash, negating an interaction with the deck. It's only 9 disruptions, but we have a Nadir Servant. Let's go. Saphira, negate. All right, Nadir Servant has to carry this entire turn. Activate Nadir, Blazar Dragon, negate the entire effect. With 7 more disruptions left, let's hop into game 2. Tracked at the Lurie. Lurie could not be banished by a Bestial here. We need a monster on the field to make them a quick effect. Now, we're banishing Garura so the Maximus can't come out. That's interesting. So Maximus is stuck in the hand? Okay. Huh. Well, we can't get Desiree in the graveyard. It worked? Okay, I'm not wasting a Bestial on Fiendsmith. How about I turn off the Dogmatica nonsense, which bridges their way into the real issue, the Voiceless Voice. We have Ash, Called By, and Desiree, non-target negate up to 2 cards. All right. A try and a Bestial right away into a Bear on the floor. Desiree is going to attempt to negate the Bear on the floor. Bear on the floor will negate the Desiree. Desiree will then send the Bear on the floor to the graveyard. I didn't count this as an extra form of disruption because it has to be something that the opponent must enable. So we still have 2 disruption. Stand up Centurion, discard our Chaos Hunter, setting up the Trudea. Trudea is going to be reborning from the back row. As we activate the Primera from the back row, come forth. We're now going to Ash, negate the Primera. We just have Called By. Now we're going to Baldrake, banish the Desiree. Further turning the field into a Chaos Angel on summon, banish away the Called By the Grave. Called By the Grave is not going to be banished before banishing away that Primera. Be gone. And now it's not looking too good for Centurion. We don't have real good follow-up. The field spell and Trudea is not going to be turning into a form of disruption. It's all about being unaffected by monster effects and cannot be destroyed by battle. How can Voiceless deal with the Chaos Angel, plus the one form of disruption being the Nibiru as we're just scooping it up? Okay. The Radiance can pop the Chaos Angel, which they could gain access to through the low. To keep things nice and confusing, we have switched up the player perspectives as we have Centurion at the bottom, chain Max C to the activation of the stand-up Centurion. As stand-up is going to be discarding to put into the back row a Primera. We're going to chain Emblema Oath to put a Phalanx into the back row, then simply end our turn. The Primera plus a Bestial is going to be a way to go into a Baron de Floor or a Chaos Angel. Thus, we have the field spell, a form of disruption, a Magnum Hut, which is going to be able to banish a Phalanx, which will be able to banish a monster. Triple disruption. Low on summon is going to set up a barrier into the back row, searching for a Saphira. Saphira is going to be sending herself to the graveyard to send a Ritual spell from the deck to the grave to then search for a Skull Guardian. We're now going to Magnum Hut, banish the Saphira before she can activate. You have to sometimes consider that the opponent could have an Impulse or a Bestial. And why do you have to think about that sometimes? If you're a Maliss player and you activate the field spell over a Gold Sark, you now play into an Impulse. If you Gold Sark, nothing's going to be on the field when the Maliss activates to come back. So Why is that a scenario here? I'm not saying that we made a mistake, but I'm just saying in general, if we had a Saphira play to activate Saphira before committing to the field, they would not be able to Bestial banish the Saphira because they need a monster on the opposing side of the field to even quick effect the Bestial. And also the same thing with Impulse, there needs to be something on the field to even use the Impulse on. Ash is going to negate the Magnum Hut. Primera is going to summon from the back row, getting ready to go into a potential Chaos Angel or Baron de Flor. We're going to use the Phalanx to banish the Low, Begone. As the Primera activates to search the deck for a follow-up, and then we pop off into our possible Baron de Flor play. Is this the way? Baron de Flor it is. We already activated to search. Todd is screwed. What the heck is Todd gonna do? Nothing. Todd's gonna pass. Wow. Centurion with the clappage. We are going to be special summoning the Low, so they do get the effect to play a card into the back row. Baron de Flor is going to negate. And from there, what can we do? Baron de Flor is going to be tagging out. Does Baron de Flor still tag out? So that would be something like Reborn. If you do Reborn, return back to Baron de Flor. If it did work that way, that would be kind of nuts, right? That doesn't seem right. Return, if you do return, then special. It's not then, but it's if you do. So it does go back. Good finger. Finger the Magnum Hut and lose the Baron de Flor. We did lose out on popping. The try on summon is going to search the deck for Maxi. Yep, that's what it do. We're going to send the field spell to summon the Gargoyle as we now go into an Auxilla. Auxilla on summon, search our deck, Gargoyle chain link block from an Ash Blossom as we add back from engraved to our hand. Come to us from the deck, our stand-up Centurion. Now here's a rolling situation. We have stand-up, discard, put a card into the back row, Trudea. Activate Trudea, finger Trudea, engrave, right? If it were there, would it stop it? No, Trudea will still summon. It is not a monster effect, it's a trap effect. Trudea, activate, put itself in the back row, Primera. If we try to, hey, it's happening. You're fingering my Primera. When Primera is activating on the field, Primera's still gonna summon. Not negated, still come forth. Primera on field is negated, as a monster that is. As we now go into Little Knight. Little Knight on summon, banish away the barrier so you do not search again on the very next turn. Phalanx is going to be reborning the Auxilla within the end phase of dodge a Veiler, and then it's going to be putting into the back row in a try. A try is going to draw a card, surely drawing into a hand trap, and then we're going to have the banishment of the Little Knights. We also have the Trudea on a try going into a Cosmic Blazar, and we have a Maxi. So double disruption plus Maxi and a draw. Let's Maxi in the draw phase. Right now, Low is activating as the Little Knight's going to chain banish, and we can now, on the resolution or in response, whenever we want, we can start firing off our back row effects to get summoning. Radiance is here. Radiance is going to chain summon a Sarvis from the deck. Trudea is going to chain summon from the back row. All right. Summon. Activate to draw. If we have an Emblema engrave, we do. Sarvis is waiting for a card to activate to chain to it. Activate the Centurion field spell. We're going to chain the Sarvis to the field spell to summon from the deck. Ash is going to negate. Not today, mate. What did I say? Didn't I say we're going to draw into a disruption? I guess it was the Max Seed that did it. Yeah, of course. So we had 3 disruption. Negate. I just knew there was a disruption on the top of the deck. That he's just built that way. A try, not drawing into another one, of course. Crimson into the Blazar. Blazar negates anything. Activate to Ritual Summon. Negate. No Ritual Summon for you. Sarvis can resummon itself back on the field, but it's just already activated summon from the deck. We're out of here. Damn. What the hell? Centurion clapping it up. Well done. Thank you to both for the very nice duels. Let's hop into the grand finale. Begin. We're going to start this off with a Dormouse. Well, it's okay. We have Ash. Well, Ash does nothing against a single Dormouse. But we do have a Bestial to possibly help mitigate this single Dormouse play. We're going to banish a White Rabbit. White Rabbit is going to be setting up into the back row a GWC. We're going to link this off into a Lingeribo instead of a Link Decoder. We're going to banish the Dormouse from Engrave to now come forth and summon itself onto the field. We're going to turn this into a Link Decoder. This is great against Impulse, pretty good against Imperm also, but it plays horribly into a Nibiru. So if we're confident that Voiceless Voice is not on Nibiru, then this is okay. This can be fine. You can think that they are baiting with Ashe. That if you negate this, then I hit you with Nibiru, right? That could be the case. Which is why we're just, nope, I don't need the draw 2. It's fine. We're going to go into a Splash Mage. Splash Mage, and if you're wondering, why did we not use Link Decoder? Link arrows, link positioning. We didn't want the Apollo to be in the middle and in a weird spot. White Binder is now going to get GWC'd, banish the White Binder to reborn back the Red Ransom. We're going to trigger the White Binder to come forth and draw a card. We're now going to White Binder, set up the GWC. As we link all 3 into a Terahertz. Ooh, buddy. Terahertz going to send from the deck to the graveyard or extra deck that is a monster. We're going to be protecting the Deceive Worm with the Apollo USA. Negate the Serenir. Now, committing to negating a Serenir means the Serenir eats not 1 but 2 disruptions because it's still in the hand. It's going to be activatable again. So there goes our entire Apollo USA to the Serenir. But beyond the Apollo, which I'll just pretend like it's already going to negate it again, maybe, we have a Deceive Worm to negate a spell and trap. We have Terahertz, which will be able to send from our extra deck a Packbit, which will push a monster on the field into the back row. And then with that double disruption, we have the MTP, which will non-target banish a card in the field. Did we get into a Cryptor? We did not get into a Cryptor. Maybe the White Binder is a form of disruption by banishing cards in the graveyard, but probably not. We'll just still count it maybe, as the Ashe also negates an interaction in the deck. 5 disruption plus max C. 6 if we count the Apollo. I'll just count the Apollo until it negates. 6. Regained is not going to be so good on your own turn. Against Maliss, we're going to negate the Serenir. As I suspected, the double Apollo negates would be on the Serenir. Primera is going to be searching our deck for a stand-up Centurion. Stand-up Centurion, so I have to read the situation on Packbit. Packbit is going to put the monster into the back row as a trap, and Primera wants to be a trap. While this card is a trap, it can activate the effect. So we don't actually want that to be the case. If this card's continuous track, special summon. Deceive Worm, negate the activation of Stand Up Centurion, thus it goes to the graveyard. That's a huge deal. Goodbye to you. Big enough to take out the Apollo USA. As we now GWC, attempt to summon within the end phase, we're going to activate Max Seed, chain the Ash Blossom to negate. No multiple draws for you. Well, we got hard clapped. Didn't even use the Packbit to push back because obviously that's not good. White Binder, banish from either player's graveyard. There's nothing we can really do, right? I was going to say we're trolling, but it doesn't really matter. This is going to be on a lower chain link. They're going to be on the higher chain link. They're not going to be returned back. Technically, you shouldn't do this, but it's the end of the turn. What else are we going to use it on? It just does nothing, so why not? And back, summon, banish the Dormouse, trigger. You would still not want to do it here. It would still summon. Ransom searching for a follow-up. Got triple March Hare, ain't no way. But now, if our card is banished and it activates, you would then want to use Regain. Regain would be on the higher chain link if it's not your turn, and then you would be able to return them back. You're negated because Terahertz. A lot of people forget, not that you did, but Terahertz negating the battle phase. If you're playing the mirror match, if they're waiting to banish their cards, you go to the battle phase first, and then they're trying to trigger the White Binder or the White Rabbit. It's not going to work. Begin. We're going to start this off with a stand-up Centurion. Discard a Veiler to put a Trudea into the back row. Trudea is going to be putting herself back in the back row after being summoned to play a Primera into the back row. Primera activating to search our deck as the Ash Blossom negates. We got some disruption. Our disrupts are, draw for a turn. This is a situation. There are a lot of things at play here. The regained is a disruption when it's not our turn. If we, right now, Maliss and Underground banish a Dormouse activates. Under the regained will be the higher chain link, returning the Dormouse back in the deck. We have a Cosmic Blazer play with the back row plus the field spell, which will negate anything. We have an Ash negate interaction with the deck. We also have a Nibiru to tribute off the entire field. That's 4 forms of disruption. Now, Impulse can negate Nibiru. Impulse can negate the Trudea or a Tri-Summon from the back row. Or you could try to Impulse negate the field spell, but the field spell can be chain link blocked by the Atri. So you would summon the Atri, put it on the higher chain link to the field spell activating, and then if they were holding onto Impulse for the field spell, they scoop. But they're not allowed to scoop in the grand finale, so I don't know what they do. Swarm banishing away the Primera. Regain triggering. Bro, Impulse on regained? What? No. What the? We already gave up. We gave up. All right, it's over. A try activates. It didn't even have to bother chain link blocking because the Impulse is already used. Crimson Dragging into... Does Blazer have an animation? I forget. No. Unbelievable. As we turn both bodies into a dark, we could trigger the Druid Swarm to send a card from the fields of the graveyard, send the Legatia, negate the summon of the dark. Druid Swarm send, goodbye to the Legatia. Didn't even activate Underground? Well, you know what Underground says? If you look closely, it says your opponent draws 1 card. Why would you activate this? I know someone may be thinking like, oh, is he giving up? No, it says your opponent draws 1 card. So don't activate. It's actually correct to not activate. No, why would you do that? If you understand what I'm saying, the regained. We'll just return back and draw. And they're holding the effect for that, thus you don't do it. If we had a Sark and an Underground, sure, we activate 1, it gets regained, then we do the other one, but we didn't have that scenario in our favor. Big bodies on the field, 9,500 damage, taking this into game number 3. Maliss and Underground is going to banish from the deck a Dormouse. Dormouse is here, banish from the deck a White Rabbit. Now, while we do have a Veiler and a Nibiru for 2 plays, we do have a Culprit of the Grave to finger the Veiler. Now, the goal would be, is your Veiler going to be good enough for me to even want to finger? This is your last chance at Druid Swarm. You could chain Druid Swarm to the Splash Mage. Otherwise, as soon as this resolves, you cannot summon this. All right, that's it. No Druid Swarm. Into a Red Ransom. Red Ransom's going to search our deck for a Mirror. Set 3 pass. What do we have here? We have the ability to negate a special summon. We can negate a monster on the field. We could also negate a monster on the field again. We could banish from their graveyard with a Druid Swarm, which will maybe be a form of disruption. Probably not against Centurion. I'm going to say it's not, so I'm taking that point away. At triple disruption, we have the Red Ransom being banished and then come back and set an MTP through a White Rabbit. Is MTP already in the graveyard or banished? It's not. So we do have the MTP to non-target banish card in the field. So I'm going to give them that point back, up to 4 forms of disruption. Normal Trudea, Imperm, negate the Trudea. Triple disruption left. Okay, we're gonna force out, no, okay, we have the Druid Swarm to banish it anyway, so it's fine. We don't need to use the mirror early. Almirage, protecting us from card effect destruction. Going to a Little Knight. Little Knight is going to activate to banish away the Impulse. We're now down to double disruption. Druid Swarm, banishing the White Binder, Reborn, get banishing. Oh my Jesus. Whoops! You drew into MTP? Huh? We're supposed to set that from the deck. That was not supposed to happen. All right. Well, we could still play through that. It's okay. We're going to summon the chassis, summon the Red Ransom, banish the White Rabbit. White Rabbit set the MTP from our deck, but it's in our hand, so it actually does nothing. White Binder is going to be activating as the Little Knight Chain banishes. The effect wasn't even worthy enough for us to want to use a mirror onto it, so we successfully go through with that GWC set. Further going into the Access Code Talker. Access the codes, boost up to 5,300 attack, phalanx on the resolution. What? Impulse is usable on a phalanx? Because you special summon it next turn? What? Negate. Oh my Jesus. Damn. Lethal damage. That's crazy. All right, let's get to the decks. Boom. Maliss is the majority of the top cut, despite everyone likely playing 3 of a card that completely skips their turn if used at the start of their turn and they don't have a way to negate it. Even if they do, you could chain a second or third copy to dodge the called by or cross out. Let's see the decks. Boom, tier limit. Umbra Nox, 40 cards. We are no Lancia in here, interesting. We have the extra deck looking pretty good. The cat is attacking the mat right now. We now have Snake Eye Fiendsmith. 40 cards, double Lancia in the main. We have a Magician's Souls. We got the Birch. Here's the extra deck. Good job, Morpho. Fire King Sniffus. No Lancia at all. Sniffus clapping it up with Fire King. Voiceless Voice. Where is Lancia? People already taking Lancia out? I don't understand. There's no side deck in the event. Huh? Okay. Here's the extra deck and the main. Blue Eyes. Bori with the double Lancia. Okay. Blew it up. There's the extra deck. And then we have Centurion. Second place, triple Lancia, double Ghost Spell, triple Chaos Hunter. Oh my Jesus. Chaos Hunter being level 6, or wait, I was thinking if it was level 6, it could help out the field spell. It's still level 7. We're just liking Chaos Hunter because we do. Sure. I guess you could normal summon a Bell to make a Baron to floor with it, or an Ash. There's the extra deck. We then have White Force Azamina, more than one. Main deck double Lancia. We have Millennium up in here. Okay. There's the extra deck. And then we have MD Chimeron. I'll just show both in one. There's the Apollo down there. Here's the rest of the list. Millennium is the way. We then have Memento. GG Sync. Dice Smasher's been banned. We have triple Lancia. Well done. And then Maybach, triple Lancia. All right, looking good from both players here. Yep. And then Fiendsmith Control. The side deck, triple Phantasme, triple Lancia. We got Ghost Mourner. What's up with the Ghost Mourner, Scar? Did it work out well? It's just a 4th and 5th copy of Valor, but not banishable with your Bestials. Okay. Sameto is on triple Lancia, no Phantasme. We have one DD Crow randomly in here, both of them on Gamma and Psyframe. You are on Primites, the other Mad Lad is not. So Sameto on Primite, Scar is just more hand traps. And then the Maliss deck. So I'm gonna go to this page to check out the Maliss decks. Let's see. Maliss it up. Show me the way. Let me switch my camera to see this a bit better. All right. So, Code of Soul, 1 terahertz, and if there's going to be 1 terahertz out of 4, of course it's going to win the event. Boom. We have Kawaki. Kawaki, no TB11, 2 Impulse. We got a Nibiru, triple Droll and Lockbird. A lot of people have been taking that out. We're on double Chessie. Triple Lancia in the freaking main deck. You what, mate? We're on Fool Loss also. A lot of people have been taking Fool Loss and Droll out. I guess it's time to put them back in. Topologic Bomber Dragon. Nightmare Griffin. By the way, a bow could come out next week. Yeah. This was played in the TCG by Maliss players. If we go to TCG stats, if we go, I'll type in deck, a bow, it was one of their favorite ways to play the deck. Maliss, Dormouse. Yeah, that's a lot of a bow it up. So maybe that will be a thing in Master Duel for us alongside Griffin. But Griffin got banned. So we'll be the ones to use it. All right, so getting ahead of that to do that early. And then we have Fictinium, top 16. 2 Bell, 1 Chessie, 2 Droll, no Fool Loss, double Nibiru. We are on Imperm. Kawaki was on Imperm also, right? Yep, triple Imperm. Looking good, nothing too crazy with the extra deck. Abdullah on Cynet Mining. Cynet Mining to help mitigate a Lancia to search for a Code of Soul. I like that idea. We're not playing Imperm, we have replaced it. Also on triple Tactics Talents. Double Lancia plus a shifter. Fictinium, it was not on Lancia at all. 0 Lancia. Interesting. And we are shifting another Topologic Bomber Dragon. Okay. And then Mitchell, the #1 Maliss player of today's event. We are on Packbit instead of Aggregator. Packbit is much better for the mirror match. Aggregator is likely better overall against other decks. But due to how prevalent Maliss is, I'm thinking Packbit is the better thing to play right now. We're on TB11, the only one on TB11 in the top cut. And we did see him use TB11 a lot today. We are also on anything else crazy, double Lancia, no Droll, no Fool Loss, double Chessie. Well done. So good job, Mitchell, winning the entire event today with terahertz. That is the way. And next week, Raziel, Copium should be coming. Raziel it up. Detonator, get endlessly popping. Pop. Reload it up with plug it. Pop. Load it up again with Plasma Hole. Pop, Plasma, then pop again. Detach, negate the field spell. It's gonna be a good time. All right, there'll be at least 2 tier 1 decks, and the usage of Lancia will go down, and the meta will maybe heal.